Alright, so first, my name is Henry Morris, but nowadays people just call me Eteled, the name of the me I made. I'm not used to talking about my life, but I think it's time I shared my perspective on, well, everything really. I guess we're gonna start from the beginning. I wasn't lucky to have the childhood that is usually portrayed in movies and stuff. My father was abusive towards me, while my mother always loved me. But she was always sad. She'd usually spend the day in her room crying. I couldn't even be safe at school. I was bullied for being different. Being born with schizophrenia, it made me a natural target for the jerks at that place. Not only that, but I would usually be sent to school covered in bruises because of my home life. It caused me to develop some issues later on in my life. Even after I moved out of there after finishing high school, life was still pretty crap for me. My work life was horrible due to the fact that I had some trouble working with others due to my anxiety and tendency to want to be alone. I couldn't help it, as if things couldn't get any worse. My mother ended up committing suicide the same day I got fired from my job. I was depressed. I started to feel like there just wasn't a point of going on anymore. Never ended up doing it, but I did start hurting myself, unfortunately. One day, I decided to apply for a job at Nintendo. I had some of the consoles growing up, like the SNES, and it helped distract me from my personal life. So I figured that maybe this would be the right place for me. Somehow, I did manage to get hired, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. It was definitely the odd one out there. I still wasn't mentally okay, so I would usually isolate myself from everyone and just focus on working. Rumors about me started going around the office. They never went anywhere, but it just solidified the fact that I was different from everyone. One day, however, we started developing the new console. It was codenamed the Revolution, and it would eventually become the Nintendo Wii. During this time, I was made aware of a new worker named Austin, who was getting praised constantly by the higher-ups. I started feeling jealous. I worked here longer than this kid, so why is he getting all the praise? After a while, my envy and anger took over me, and it caused me to make one of the worst mistakes of my life. I knocked Austin out and took him to the server room. I tied him to a chair and waited for him to wake up. When he did, I started letting him know about my frustrations with him. I grabbed the axe I brought with me, and I chopped his legs off. He couldn't make a lot of noise due to me gagging him, but I could tell he was in pain. Then, with one final swing, I decapitated him. Blood splattered everywhere, all over the room and on me. It was hardly visible on my clothes due to me wearing black, but it did get onto my face. I was pleased with myself. In some twisted way, I thought that I did the right thing. It didn't change a damn thing, however. I was still an outcast. It hurt a lot. I couldn't understand. Jeez, how stupid was I? Days passed by, and it's getting close to the Wii's release date. I was off my meds that day, so my mental illness took over my actions. I decided to take a Wii that was boxed and go to the back room. I set up the Wii and took out the bottle of beer I took with me from my home. I immediately went to the Me channel and decided to make a new me from scratch. The me was male. He was bald. He had huge eyes, a huge mouth, and a small nose. I made it this way because this is how I wanted to look if I was a me. It's just the way I like it. When I got to the naming part, I decided to name the me Eteled. Now, I don't know why I chose to name it Delete spelled backwards, but I think it was because of the mix of alcohol and my schizophrenia, so I wasn't thinking straight. I finished the me and put it into the plaza. I stared at it for a moment. I always wanted to be a me, I chuckled to myself sadly. Then, I noticed that the TV was flickering a bit. I looked down the outlet, and I saw that the plug was halfway out the socket. I leaned down to push it back in, and I was electrocuted. Pain was intense and lasted a long time. After a couple seconds, I fell to the ground, unable to move. Moments later, I died. But somehow, I woke up inside the me channel, inside of the body of the me I created. I was shocked at first, but a sense of fulfillment sort of washed over me. I was free from my torturous life. I could finally be at peace. A few days later, my eyes locked into the delete icon. My curiosity started rising. I was nervous, but eventually, I deleted myself. I ended up in the hallway while connected to the life support machines. The pain was excruciating, but I managed to get up. I cried for help, but nobody came. I saw a portal at the end of the hallway. I stumbled over to it and I ended up in what appeared to be an earlier version of the hallway. That's when I encountered him.